the pitch bait became the deal, the Pit Boss, and that is really no shocker. Fishing wood cover, if you're a fan of Fishful Thinker and I'm fishing hard wood cover like that, more often than not, I'm gonna have a Texas rig and it's gonna have a Pit Boss on it, a Berkley Pit Boss. I have a tremendous amount of confidence in that bait. It's compact, but big enough. It's subtle, but it has enough action. It comes in great colors. And whenever I've got a flipping stick in my hand, it makes me happy when it comes to largemouth bass fishing at the end of the day. So, you know, the heavy line, the big sinker, the 4/0 Fusion 19 EWG hook and the Pit Boss is a very standard deal for me. The really fast reel, and it works really good. Plus, they're some of my favorite hook sets you can possibly have in fishing. Maybe not a crappie. I just missed one right there, guys, a second ago, and I thought maybe it was a crappie, and I threw back to it. And they're getting a little bigger, so what we did is, I'll get him back. We like to be nice to the fish. We made a wholesale move. We've been fishing all the way at the dam end of the lake, the east end of the lake, and we've produced a bajillion fish, but no big ones. And so we made an executive decision to move all the way up lake, get into some muddier water, maybe some warmer water, and see what was going on up here. Now, the water level's really low and the lake's really low, so I wasn't even sure we'd be able to run up here. 20 years ago when I came to this lake, you could easily. We snuck in here using the Ranch C-Map, we're here. And now I've got the Pit Boss out, a 4-inch Pit Boss, that color's perfection. Got in a big old school lead sinker, 20-pound trying 100% fluorocarbon. Got the big heavy 7.6, heavy fast Veritas, and the Rocket, my standard pitching and flipping setup. And like I said, wholesale change, it's probably our biggest fish of the day so far. You got it? Got him, there we go. Get up in here. Jeez. Okay, I'm not fishing real clean these days, guys. That's 2 times it took me to get that fish out of there too, but I got him that time. And we are going to pick everything apart in this cove at this point because the water's warmer in here and it's dirty in here and we're getting bit regularly, and so we will pick this part apart. Fish. Got him. Come on in here, buddy. Yay, yay. Yay, 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 yay. Fishing heavy cover. There's my Pit Boss. Look how deep that Fusion 19 got that one. I weighted him out good. There's so much stuff on the bottom in here that it's really hard to tell. And that's not a monster, but I'm happy to have that one. Big kiss. Mwah! It's a good looking Kansas largemouth right there. And he does not look to be spawned. He's got a little rough on his tail, a little bit beat up, but not really much. I'm gonna put him back gracefully right here. Look at that. You see how clear the water is? See if he'll jump. No, he thought about it. But here's my bait, guys, and because of that real clear water, I'll show you what I got going on here real quick, because we need to get back to fishing. You got a Texas rigged Perfection, this color's called. If you notice, it's kind of a cinnamon on one side and black and blue flake on the other. Got a little peg tungsten sinker, and I just use a good trick. It's an old school trick for a stop. If you look right here, all that is a uni knot. That's 17-pound Trillium XT tied in a uni knot, and it's just tied on the line. So I can slide it, same as any other bobber stop. Works really good right there to keep my sinker down where it needs to be. But just picking apart all this wood cover you see behind us, and ever so often you get a bite, you have to be on your game when you get a bite. I need a fresh bait here, guys. But you gotta be on your game when you get a bite, because if you let them wrap you in this stuff, it's game over. It's good fun though. There's fish. Got him. Oh, come out of there. Come out of there. Oh, he's in there. He's in there. He's got me wrapped. Okay, I'll slack him out. Oh, okay. He's on there. I'm gonna slack him out, see if he'll pull free. Did he come off? No, he's on there. Come out of there. There we go. I got him. He was wrapped in there. So guys, that's a good trick right there. Let me put the poles down. he had me fully wrapped back there. So the line came completely tight. And at first it moved, I knew I had him. And then the line came completely tight and I knew I wouldn't pull out of there. So instead of just continuing to pull on him, I just gave him total slack. And when you do that, they'll swim out on their own at that point. They think they're free or whatever the case might be, but he swam out of there all by himself and I didn't have to pull him out of there. And then when you can feel him start pulling back, then you know he's sprung himself free. But the other thing I'll point out, that's 20-pound fluorocarbon, and this big fuzz you see right here is a strand because it was wrapped around that log. I will be retying. It didn't take me very long to figure out that the horizontal laydowns were the deal, which is not terribly surprising in Kansas. That is more commonly than not the case. But the horizontal laydowns were the deal. Anything laying in bushes or a cross section of two logs or pull timber with a horizontal laydown of some sort on it held fish. And it just became a matter of were they on the deep end or at the shallow end or in the crotches where the two logs come together. But at the end of the day, if I wasn't fishing around gravelly banks with horizontal laydowns, I wasn't catching fish. Got him. I saw that one eat. I saw that one eat. Dude, every one of those laydowns has got some fish on it, guys. It's all about the horizontal laydown. That guy came screaming out of there and he's hooked good. We'll swing him up in here. Keep him off the carpet for my boat, and that's a nice one. And he's got that swim jig stuck in his face. Actually, we'll leave that in the boat with all the cover in there. But that's a good one there, guys. We're finally getting them. Now, again, these aren't giants, but man, after all the fish we've caught in the last 2 days, to catch them that size always makes me happy, and they all get a big kiss. We'll put him back here. And guys, there's a couple lessons I want to go about real quick and put him back. That's a good-looking largemouth. The camera looks around, there's cover everywhere. There's vertical poles, there's bushes, there's salt cedars. It's all about the laydowns, the horizontal cover. And I've been fishing in Kansas and Nebraska for a long time. Anytime you get a horizontal log or something is always gonna be better. You get two of them together like this or the crook in the tree. Curtis Welch and I did TV shows years and years ago, 12 years ago, in Keith Sebelius, Lake Keith Sebelius, same thing. Every time we got to a crook in the tree, you catch one on them. And so I'm just looking ahead. If they're too far to pitch with my regular pitch bait, with my pit boss, then I'm throwing the swim jig and swimming it by them and killing it when it gets to the crook in the tree or whatever. Kill it, it drops down, they get it. Otherwise, if I'm close enough to them, I'll just use the regular pitch bait. It's got a higher hookup percentage. And just going 1-2. The swim jig is on a 50-pound braid, and that way I can feel it. It's on 50-pound Dura braid. And then the other one is on fluorocarbon, so I can get the hook set and the controllability with the braid. And some people say, well, why not a bladed jig or something like that? Well, because then you've got a whole bunch of vibration, and as clear as this water is, I don't need that. They can see it without any problem at all. They don't need the vibration. The vibration, if anything, just gives them too much of a clue what's going on, potentially. So I'd rather have no blade or no spinning blade. We've had only tiny little fish nip at anything with a spinning blade other than a topwater bait. While we were out sniffing around trying other things, I kept seeing crappies suspended in bushes and trees. Camera guy Tim was spotting them as well. And so we decided we better take a midday break and fish for a few of those and see if we could get them to bite. And we didn't have a lot of problem getting them to bite. The little gulp minnow paid the bills. So I took a break from pitching all this cover because we keep seeing crappies in here. And these are black crappies. And there's my gulp minnow again, which I always keep handy and rigged. And that is about as gorgeous of a fish as they get for fresh water. Look at big old scales on them and everything. These are awesome fish. One of my favorites. They're kind of cartoony. I don't know why I always think that when I catch crappies, but to me, it's just a bonus catch. We can see them sitting under these logs, and as you guys have seen, we've picked several largemouth off from under, but every time I look down, I see a big crappie somewhere, I'll just pick the gulp minnow up and drop it in front of them, and you can get most of them to go that way. They do one of two things, either split all together or they eat it, so pretty good. I've had a couple of refusals, but not many. Got him. Get in here. Yeah, guys, it's pretty funny. We spotted a bunch of these crappies suspended in all these bushes right here. And so I got the same thing I'd always get out, a little 1/8 ounce jig head and a 3-inch gullet minnow, and there's a perfect one. And we've seen some quite a bit bigger than that sitting right here. I just haven't executed so far, but we'll put him back. But there's tons of those in this lake, and it's a viable thing for guys to come to a straight up crappie fishing deal here probably as well. I do have other stuff back in the pickup that we could bring out here, straight crappie gear, but I've always been able to get at least a few of them to go on a 3-inch gullet minnow and an 1/8 ounce jig head. It's my standard gullet minnow rod, 6-pound, 100% fluorocarbon, Fantasista, and the Revo MGX, and it always is in the boat just for stuff like this. I've also caught bass on it already today. If we run into bluegills, we could catch them. It just gives us an opportunity to catch anything we happen to see by having the super finesse rod in the boat. And if we find another big one and I execute correctly, about half of them we put it in front of them, smash immediately, and the other half of them ignore it. Oh, he nipped it, he didn't bite it. Oh, he kissed it that time. He's like, no, I don't want that. Oh, he kissed it that time. He's like, no, I don't want that. Got him that time. So at any rate, it's fun with fish. I think we illustrated that. It's a fun little interlude from the topwater bassin we're doing to be able to catch a few of these. And again, we're seeing some that are bigger, but look how dark they are. And the water is really clear, as you can see. You can see that gullet minnow on the bottom, the bright colors, so I can see it as much as anything else. The crappies are gonna bite the little minnow one way or the other, but with the real bright color, I can see it. And when that whole yellow minnow disappears, that whole chartreuse minnow is gone, I know he's got it all the way in his mouth. Otherwise, a lot of them are short striking it, and that's a key thing. Here he comes. Got him. That's a bass. Okay, I saw a largemouth come around. Oh, come out of there. He swallowed that gullet minnow too. It is gone. Trying to catch crappies, and this guy just came darting over there like it owed him money. Come here, buddy. Come on. That's funny. Look at that minnow. It is gone, dude. He swallowed that thing. Any place that we caught largemouth up on these shallow pockets and way up lake were areas that we were also seeing shad in the 7 or 8 inch range running around. They were acting like they were spawning there, and in my experience, most of the time we see shad up spawning. They're up in rocks somewhere, but these fish were spawning, appeared to be around hard wood cover. Got him, got him, got him. And the largemouth were up there eating them. Okay. All right, now we got one on the, oh, stay on, baby. That one's not barely hooked. Come here, baby. I caught my own hook. Got him. Whew. There's the swim jig. I want you to look down this gullet. We keep seeing those shad run around. And I think it's safe to say that we have an idea what they might be eating. And that's a good chunky. Look at the belly on that. That shad should be somewhere around 7 or 8 inches long, and that's a nice one. Mwah. We'll be quick about getting that baby back, but look at that belly on there. That nice amount of mark on her. What a great looking fish. Look at that. That's a good looking fish. We'll just let her get her wits about her. And one thing I know about these guys, they're my favorite of the freshwater species. And they're very durable, and they're also known for the size of their mouth, not the size of their brain. And when they stuff, I mean, that bait he ate had to be a third or more of his own length, and he still hadn't even swallowed that yet, and he's turning around grabbing my swim jig as well. I've got the power swim jig with the chicker chunk trailer on it, and straight braid, and getting her done. Nope. Fish, got him. All right, took me a minute to figure that one out, guys, and that's why you throw the swim jig on braid, because I'm throwing that thing way up ahead of the boat, and he ain't much. He could have been a lot bigger, but I'm throwing it way ahead of the boat, and if you have that on mono or fluoro, it deadens a lot of stuff, but with straight braid like this, throwing it way up there, I can plenty of oomph to get a hook set or whatever I need to do. And it's actually harder to get hook sets on small fish than big fish because they don't have as much resistance when you set the hook. So I'll get a new power chunk and get her done.